Have you ever met someone music who didn't try to impress? Didn't talk much? Didn't show off? Yet somehow made the whole room slow down just because of their presence. They don't need spotlights or compliments. There's simply music there. Calm, confident, and magnetic. That kind of allure doesn't come from appearance. It comes from inner energy. The silent magnetism music the Stoics called inner strength. In a world where everyone is trying to stand out, the less you try, the more magnetic you become. True attraction music doesn't come from what you make others see, but from how they feel when they're around you. People aren't drawn to your music because you're more beautiful. They're drawn to you because with you, they feel more at peace. The Stoics believe that lasting attraction music doesn't come from appearance, but from self-control. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "A calm mind is the music foundation of inner beauty." When you can remain composed amid chaos, you emit an energy that makes others want to trust and respect you. True magnetism doesn't lie in how others see music you, but in how you respond to life. When you stay calm in the face of criticism, kind in the midst of indifference, music can steadfast even when misunderstood. That is the kind of beauty time can never take away. And today Music Wheel explores 6 timeless Stoic habits. Habits that make you magnetic. Not because you're trying to be, but because you've become your true self. Peaceful, confident, and grounded in strength. Habit 1. Truly listen. In an age where truly listen everyone wants to talk, share, and express themselves, those who truly listen have become rare. And that rarity makes them deeply music magnetic. Most of us listen only to reply, not to understand. When someone music speaks, our mind is already busy preparing what to say next. But the Stoics believe that only when your mind is truly music still can you hear not just the words but the meaning behind them. Epictetus Music once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we may listen more than we speak." That teaching music is simple yet profound. Listening is not merely an act of the ears but a presence of the mind. When you listen music to someone with your full attention, you are giving them a precious gift. The feeling of being seen, understood, and respected. Think back to the feeling of talking to music someone who truly listens to you. They don't interrupt. They don't glance at their phone. They don't rush to give advice. They just sit there music silent, present, and make you feel safe enough to open up. That is the power of a true listener. They make others feel seen and valued without a single fancy word. The Stoics viewed silence as a music sign of strength. When you stay silent to listen, you are not being weak. You are showing self-control. You don't music need to prove yourself or win the argument. You let your ego step aside so you can truly understand others. And that humility music radiates a special kind of energy. The quiet power of calmness and confidence. In a world where everyone tries to speak louder music to be noticed, the one who chooses silence to listen becomes the most captivating presence music in the room. They don't need to try to impress because their focus and presence are already magnetic. When you listen, you're telling the other person you matter. Music, your story deserves to be heard. And that is something every human being longs to feel. Music to cultivate this habit. Start by being fully present in every conversation. When someone speaks, set aside all the thoughts in your mind. Don't prepare a rebuttal. Don't judge. Just look at them. Pay attention to their voice, their eyes, and the emotion behind every word. Listen music not to respond, but to understand. You can also practice listening music to yourself. Spend a few minutes each day sitting quietly and noticing what your mind is saying. Music listen to your fears, your hopes, and even the silence within. When you learn to listen to yourself, You also learn to listen to others with greater compassion and deeper music understanding. True magnetism doesn't come from the words you speak, but from the feeling you give others. A good listener makes people feel seen. Clears throat and in this world. That feeling is worth more than any compliment. So practice the art of listening. Let your eyes speak in place of words. And music, let your silence become a safe space for others to open up. When you can do that, you don't just become someone people like. You become someone they seek out for peace. And that is the deepest kind of magnetism a music person can have. Habit 2. Cultivate inner peace. There's a cultivate inner peace, mysterious kind of magnetism you can't quite explain. The magnetism of someone who remains calm even when the world around them is in chaos. When others panic, they stay composed. When others' music lose control, they still carry a gentle smile. There's something about them that makes people feel safe, trusting, and drawn inches. That is the power music of inner peace. In Stoic philosophy, peace doesn't mean avoiding chaos. It means keeping your mind from being swept away by it. Marcus Aurelius Music once wrote, "Tranquility is the result of living in harmony with reason." Music. The Stoics understood that we cannot control the world, but we can control how we respond to it. And when you can do that, you become stronger than anyone around you. Imagine your mind as a body music of water. When the water is still, you can see everything reflected clearly. But when the waves rise, the image music becomes distorted. Our mind is the same. When it's filled with worry, fear, or anger, music, we can no longer see the truth. Only when we learn to calm the mind can we truly see what matters most. Peace is not a gift you're born with. It's a habit music you train every day. When you face a stressful situation, pause for a moment. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, is this within my control? If it is, take action. If it's not, let it go. This is the core principle of Stoicism. Simple yet profoundly music powerful. The modern world teaches us to react quickly, to perform, to winches. But those music with inner peace choose not to react immediately. They observe, they reflect, music, and only then do they act. And it is that deliberate calmness that gives them an air of composure, quiet authority, music, and distinction from the crowd. A peaceful person doesn't need to appear strong. They are strong music precisely because they have nothing to prove. They are not swayed by praise or criticism, by success or failure. They understand that everything is temporary. The only thing that endures music is how they hold themselves amid life's constant changes. People are often drawn to those who are peaceful. Music, the way one seeks shelter in a storm. They don't need you to solve every problem. They music just need to feel safe in your presence. And that the power to make others feel at peace is one of the highest forms of music attraction a person can possess. To cultivate that peace, you don't need to withdraw from the world. You just need to music step away from the thoughts that disturb you. Spend a little time alone each day. No social media. No noise. Sit quietly. Breathe. And let everything pass without judgment. The more you practice, the calmer your mind will become. When you are at peace, you don't need to say much. Others can feel it music in your eyes, in the way you walk, in every breath you take. True peace cannot be faked. It only comes from those who have learned to master themselves. Music can when you can stand steady in the midst of chaos and still carry a smile. That's when you are not only magnetic but truly admirable. Music. Habit 3. Speak with purpose. There are speak with purpose people who only need to speak music and the whole room falls silent. Not because they speak loudly, but because their words carry weight. Meanwhile, There are others who talk endlessly, yet no one music truly listens. The difference doesn't lie in the voice. It lies in intention. The Stoics believe that every word carries power. Music it can heal, but it can also hurt. That's why the wise choose to speak less, but speak with purpose. Epictetus once music taught, "Be silent or let your words be worth more than silence," for the Stoics. Speaking is an act of consciousness. Music not reaction. They don't speak to win arguments or to impress others. Music they speak when necessary. And when they do, their words carry clarity, calmness, and sincerity. That is the kind of language that makes people listen. Not because music you force them to, but because they can feel the truth in what you say. A person who speaks with purpose has no need to prove themselves. They understand that silence can sometimes be more powerful than 1,000 words. When you know when to speak and when to stay silent, music you are demonstrating inner control, the very foundation of dignity and magnetism. According to the Stoics, in an age where everyone rushes to express their music opinions, your calmness becomes a light that stands out. When you slow down and think before you speak, others can sense music that you're not talking just to fill the silence. You're speaking to add value. And because of that, every word you say is valued more deeply. Notice that music the people you admire most are rarely the ones who talk the most. They're the ones who make you music think after they speak. A well-timed, well-chosen word can shift someone's emotions. Music even change the direction of their day. Conversely, a careless or thoughtless word can wound in ways that may never be undone. Speaking with music purpose is also a reflection of your honesty. If your words don't align with your actions, people will sense it instantly. But when what you say matches what you do, you earn not just trust, music but respect. The Stoics taught, don't talk about calmness. Live it, words carry real weight only when they are proven by the way you live. And don't forget, the way you speak to yourself music matters even more than how you speak to others. Harsh self-criticism, constant comparison, and silent judgment are conversations music that quietly wound you. Instead, learn to speak to yourself with music kindness and patience. When you know how to speak gently to your own heart, you naturally speak to the music world with compassion and confidence. A persuasive speaker may impress others for a moment, but a purposeful speaker leaves a lasting mark. True magnetism in speech doesn't come music from sound. It comes from the state of the speaker's mind. When you speak with calmness, sincerity, music and wisdom, your words will echo far beyond any noise. So speak less, but music make every word count. Let your silence carry weight, and let your words' music be an extension of your inner peace. When you speak with purpose, you don't just make others listen, you make them respect you. Habit music 4. Face adversity with courage. No one goes through life face adversity with courage without facing music hardship. Everyone, no matter how strong, has days when they are hurt, betrayed, or fail at something they once believed in with all their heart. But it's the way music you face those moments that truly defines who you are. And that is also what makes you deeply, irresistibly magnetic. Music true magnetism doesn't come from the smile you wear when everything is going well. Music but from the calm you maintain when everything is falling apart. A person who can stay composed music in the storm, who speaks gently even when their heart is raging. That's the kind of person others never forget because in music them, we see what everyone is searching for. Inner strength. The Stoics believe that adversity is not music an enemy but a teacher. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Turn the music obstacle into the way. Every hardship is an opportunity to strengthen music your character." Just as iron becomes sharp only after being forged in fire, a person becomes truly strong only after being tested by challenges. Resilience music doesn't mean you don't feel pains. It means you don't let the pain define you. You may music fall, but then you rise calmer, stronger, and wiser. That is the spirit of resilience. The ability to recover after hardship. Music, the quiet magnetism of those who have walked through storms yet still keep a warm heart. When you face hardship, don't ask, "Why is this happening to me?" Instead, music asks, "What is this trying to teach me?" That question transforms you from a victim into music a student. And the one who can learn from pain is someone who can never be defeated. There's a concept in Stoic philosophy called amor fati, which means music love your fate. The Stoics didn't just accept what happened. They embraced it, seeing it as an essential part of their growth. When you learn to love even the imperfect music moments, you realize that adversity doesn't make you weaker. It teaches you to become more resilient, music more profound, and more grounded in every breath you take. A person of true strength never music needs to declare it. Their silence in the face of hardship is proof enough. They don't complain, don't blame, and don't music seek pity. They simply stand up, brush the dust off their shoulders, and keep walking. And that image, simple yet unbreakable, is what makes them more magnetic than anything else. Remember, others may not know what you've endured, but they will feel the strength in your eyes, the calm in music your voice, and the quiet confidence in the way you live. When you can smile in the face of adversity, music can still choose to move forward. That's when you are not just strong, you are truly admirable. Habit 5. Value integrity over approval. One, value integrity over approval. Of the main reasons people lose their natural magnetism is because music they try too hard to please everyone. They say what others want to hear, do what others expect, and live by the standards of the crowd until music they slowly forget who they are. But here's the irony. The more you try music to be liked, the more forgettable you become. Yet, when you live truthfully music according to your own values, even those who don't like you will still respect you. The Stoics' music believe that living by principle matters more than being liked. Marcus Aurelius once said, "If what you do is right, don't concern music yourself with what others think. People may praise you today and criticize you tomorrow, but integrity never changes." Music it is the compass that keeps you steady amid the storms of opinions, judgments, and music social pressure. Integrity is having the courage to live truthfully even when it's not easy. It's saying no to what goes music against your values even if it disappoints others. It's being honest music even when silence would be safer. And the beautiful thing is this. A person of integrity never music needs to declare it. They show it through their actions, their eyes, and the way they treat others. You may have gone through a time when you tried hard to be accepted. You change your voice, your music style, even your beliefs just to be liked. But eventually, you realize that other people's approval doesn't bring real peace because music depends on something you can't control. When you let your emotions be defined by how others see you, you will never feel enough. A truly magnetic person is not someone loved by everyone, but music someone respected for their consistency. They don't change just to be praised. They don't compromise just to feel safe. They do what's right music even when no one stands with them. And that consistency radiates a powerful energy, one that commands attention, even from those who disagree. Stoicism music teaches that a person's worth doesn't come from praise or recognition, but from virtue. Seneca once wrote, "No man can live happily who is enslaved to the opinion of others." When you stop music chasing approval, you begin to find yourself. And when you find yourself, you become magnetic music in a way no one can imitate. Integrity doesn't make you cold. It makes you trustworthy. Others may not always agree with you, but they know you'll never be deceitful. Music they may not share your values, but they understand you'll never betray yourself. That's why people of integrity are often the ones others' music turn to when they need honest advice, a steady shoulder, or a music reliable source of energy. Of course, living truthfully isn't always easy. At times, you'll feel lonely, you'll be misunderstood, even labeled as difficult. But remember music this: being temporarily isolated is far better than permanently losing yourself. Those who leave because you music live authentically were never meant to stay. And those who remain, they stay because of who you truly are, not the version music you pretend to be. In time, you'll realize that integrity carries a quiet music kind of magnetism. It doesn't need to be displayed or explained. It makes others admire you silently because deep down they know you are someone they can trust. Remember, true light doesn't need to prove that it shines. It simply does. And darkness disappears on its own. The same music goes for people. When you live according to your values, you don't have to seek recognition. You become the very source music of light that others are naturally drawn to. Habit 6. Focus on growth. Music not perfection. People are often obsessed focus on growth, not perfection with perfection. We want to speak without mistakes, act without errors, and live without failure. Music, but the more we chase perfection, the further we drift from ourselves. Perfection is an illusion. Growth is the real path. A truly magnetic person is not someone flawless, but someone who never stops improving. The Stoics never sought perfection. Music they understood that life is a continuous process of learning and music mistakes are inevitable. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If you fall, get up and keep moving forward." That is victory in Stoic music philosophy. Failure is not the end. It's part of the training. Just as muscles grow only after experiencing music pain, the mind matures only after facing its wounds. There's something music curious about perfection. Those who try hardest to appear flawless often make others' music feel distant. But those who dare to admit their flaws, who share their unfinished journey, music inspire us because they are real. They remind us that we don't have music to be mistake-free to be valuable. We just need the courage to learn from our mistakes. True magnetism doesn't come from doing everything right, music, but from never stopping your growth. Someone on a journey of self-improvement radiates a special kind of energy, humility, music persistence, and authenticity. They don't boast, compare, or compete. They know they aren't perfect, but they strive music every day to become a better version of themselves. And that makes them likable, admirable, music and unforgettable. Think of someone who is patient with themselves. They don't punish themselves music for mistakes. They see them as lessons. They don't collapse after failure. They ask, "Jean, what is this teaching me?" They understand that every fall is a chance to be refined. And every scar music is proof of a brave life lived. Stoicism teaches that happiness doesn't come from perfection, but from living rationally and music continually strengthening one's character. When you focus on growth, you stop fearing mistakes. You become more open, flexible, and music gentle with yourself. You don't need to be your best version today. Just a little better than yesterday is enough. The magic is this: when you stop music trying to be perfect, you become genuine. And that's when you start attracting others naturally, because everyone is tired of pretending, of wearing the mask society demands. Music, when you dare to live honestly, even imperfectly, you create space for others to do the same. And that is the deepest kind music of human connection. So don't fear mistakes. Don't be ashamed music to admit you're still learning. Instead of asking, Am I perfect yet? Ask. Am musicae improving from yesterday, each day with a little more patience? Music a little more discipline, and a little more faith in the process. You'll see change happening, not in leaps, but in steady, authentic music steps. In the end, the becoming magnetic through self-mastery most magnetic person is not the one who has reached the destination, but the one whom music keeps walking with steady eyes and open heart and an ever-learning spirit. Because they understand that life doesn't require music perfection, only progress. And if there's one thing Stoic philosophy always reminds us, it's this. You cannot control the outcome, but music can always control your effort. Focus on the journey, not the destination. Because in that journey of growth, you don't just become stronger. You become magnetic in a way no outward beauty can ever match. When you look back on music this journey, you'll realize that true magnetism has never come from appearance, words, or status. It comes from music, the peace, self-mastery, and honesty you radiate every single day. The 6 Stoic music habits: listening deeply, cultivating calm, speaking with purpose, music embracing adversity, living with integrity, and focusing on growth don't just make you more magnetic in the eyes of others. They help you rediscover yourself. Because when you music truly master yourself, you no longer need to prove anything. You no longer chase approval because you understand that real worth isn't found in others' eyes. It's found in music, the respect you hold for yourself. A person with inner strength isn't someone who's always right, but someone calm enough to recognize, correct, and music continue to grow. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Nothing brings peace to the soul except being true to yourself." Musica, when you live that way, your magnetism is no longer something you have to create. It becomes the natural result of how you live. Others will feel that strength in your eyes in the way you listen and in the quiet consistency of your actions. So if this video resonates with you, leave a music comment. I choose growth. A reminder that you choose progress over perfection. You choose peace over performance. You choose to become the truest and best version of yourself. Music, hit like, share, and subscribe so we can continue this journey together. Building the music kind of inner strength that makes a person both captivating and deeply respected in a noisy world. Because in the end, the most enduring kind of magnetism music doesn't come from making people look at you, but from making them feel at peace when they're near.